I'm studying the UKSA. Okay, so the study in UKSA, which is the third essay, it actually has to be the most exciting essay for me to write, and I like talking about it because I feel like I did a lot of research into getting my content for the essay. So I started by trying to figure out what course I wanted to study. So that involved looking at my interests in my field, or even outside my field, and thinking about what exactly I examined all my interests, and I looked for which of these interests would actually help me to show my ability to make an impact in the world in the long run, because that's really what Chevening is about. How do you come back to contribute to your community and also to the world at large? So that was when I settled for I knew I needed to do something in the field of renewable energy and sustainable energy, and I knew that even while I was studying mechanical engineering, I enjoyed classes on energy, and even from a very young age I had been confused as to why Nigeria still had electricity and power issues. So when I was able to conclude on all those things, I decided that okay, I needed to do something in the energy sector. And in this age and time, the world is moving from non-sustainable energy practices to renewable and sustainable energy. So that was the thought process for selecting my course choice. And then I needed to decide on my university choices. So this, I'm just talking about the kind of research I had to do before I even started writing my study in the UKSA in the first place. So I started looking at, now it was very, very important to already note that the UK is very, very big on sustainable energy, and they are one of the very big on climate change, which means they have to be big on renewable and sustainable energy as well, because one of the biggest contributors to emissions has to be energy, oil and gas, and production of energy. So it's very, very, for any country that is serious about curbing the effects of climate change, they need to be investing a lot into renewable and sustainable energy field. So it was very, very interesting to find out that the UK is one of the top 5 investors in renewable and sustainable energy. Particularly, they are number 1 in terms of, as at the time, I don't know about now, but at the time I did the research, they were number 1 in terms of wind and offshore energy. So when after I established that, I then started shortlisting universities. So several universities in the UK are highly ranked across the world. So the UK has a lot of top universities. So it was very, very confusing at first to decide on, which of these universities do I really want to go to. So I focused on subject rankings for those universities. I looked at universities that were highly ranked in the engineering field, in the field of mechanical engineering, and in the field of energy. So I was able to shortlist 10 universities. After that, I shortlisted 5, and then I settled for 3. And my guiding principles for settling for the 3 were I looked at the industry influence, because if I say I'm going to UK because they are heavily invested in energy and renewable energy, which of these schools are actually closely aligned with this industry? So I was able to conclude that Scotland is actually like because like the UK is made up of 3 different countries or states. So Scotland is a major player in terms of energy, oil and gas, renewable energy in UK, and even across Europe. So I settled for 2 schools in Scotland. University of Aberdeen first, because Aberdeen is regarded as the energy capital of Europe. So there's a major industry influence in terms of oil and gas, energy, and renewable energy in Aberdeen. And my second choice was University of Edinburgh. It's a top 4 university in the UK, and it's also in Scotland, so very, very closely related to the industry in Scotland. And then my third university choice was Cranfield University. Cranfield is in England, and I also picked it because it's a top 5 university for mechanical engineering in the UK, and there's also very close relationship with the energy industry in the UK. So after I was able to establish all those things for why I'm actually interested in studying in the UK one, and why I'm interested in studying renewable energy engineering at those 3 schools, I then started to write my essay. So the introduction of my essay covered why I want to study in the UK. So that's why I talked about how I've always been interested in contributing to solving Nigeria's energy challenge, and I realized that in this age and time I need to be studying a course like renewable energy engineering to because of the effects, because of the plans to curb the effects of climate change. And I believe that I can use renewable energy engineering to contribute to solving Nigeria's energy challenge. And then mentioned how the UK is very, very big on renewable energy engineering, and how they are big on their signatory to the Paris Climate Accord, and how they are big. They have a lot of major investments in the sustainable energy field. Then I also briefly mentioned how my undergraduate degree in mechanical engineering, as well as my experience working in the offshore oil and gas industry, actually prepares me for further degree in renewable energy engineering. So that was my introduction. That went into my my three course choices. I used a more number of words in my first paragraph. In my second paragraph, which was my first university choice, which was University of Aberdeen. That was where I talked about. I stressed the industry influence in Aberdeen. Talked about how Aberdeen is the capital city of the UK, and then I talked about why also the fact that Aberdeen is a coastal city, and that the fact that they are a coastal city will make me be able to learn about offshore renewable energy technologies that I believe can actually be utilized to solve Nigeria's energy challenge, because a lot of Nigeria's cities actually lie along the coast. So I also talked about that major industry influence, and then I mentioned how renewable energy engineering at University of Aberdeen is the only renewable energy engineering course in the UK that actually offers laboratory experiences on all the possible renewable energy technologies, and that was a very big deal for me. So I get to learn practical experiences about all these various renewable energy technologies. And then I concluded with like we always say, or scholars always say, Chevening is not just an all work no play kind of thing. While Chevening expects you to prioritize your studies, they also expect you to have fun, see the UK, and experience the British culture. So I made sure to include the fact that I'm also very, very interested in University of Aberdeen, because Aberdeen is a coastal city once again. So I get to go to the beach at the end of a long day of work, which is something I do enjoy doing. Then my second choice, University of Edinburgh. So I talked about how I think for University of Edinburgh, I talked about it was very highly ranked in the UK, and then I picked out some specific course modules that really appealed to me about the sustainable energy systems course at the University of Edinburgh. And I think I also talked about, I think at that point I mentioned specific course modules that I talked about how I would have the chance to take some course modules in management and all that, and I believed that would help me when if I take course modules in management. I believe it will help me. Or no, actually it was about energy policies and I think law. So I talked about how that would be very, very useful when I come back to Nigeria in terms of solving Nigeria's energy challenge, because Nigeria's energy challenges revolve around poor policies and other things like that. So I stressed that about how those course modules will help me to achieve that. And then for my final choice, renewable energy engineering at Cranfield University, I also talked about how mechanical engineering at Cranfield was highly ranked in the UK. I also stressed some specific course modules. I talked about how I wanted to work with a particular professor, Professor Chris Sampson, in renewable energy engineering at the Cranfield University. So I talked about how he has over 10 years of experience working on renewable energy projects across 10 different countries of the world, particularly African and developing countries like Nigeria that have similar energy problems like Nigeria. So I believe that working with him would actually be very, very insightful for me, as I get to learn from his years of experience. So I mentioned that, and I also briefly mentioned how being able to take electives in the School of Management, specific management electives, will actually also help me when I come back to Nigeria in terms of managing an organization to solve Nigeria's energy challenge. And then I concluded with how studying in the UK would really position me would really help me to develop the necessary skills and competencies to come back to Nigeria to solve Nigeria's energy challenge.
How were you able to research all these things and know all these things?
Google is your friend primarily. Unlike Nigerian universities where you open their websites and you probably won't see anything, that's not the same thing about these foreign universities. Everything you need to know about the universities, about the course modules, about the lecturers, you can find them on the internet. So Google was very, very helpful for me. Also, finding out about what the UK was doing in terms of renewable energy engineering was also Google. Just your field, just Google what exactly is happening regarding your field in the UK right now. You'll be able to find a lot of resources. You won't even be able to exhaust or read all of them. So Google, the internet, was my primary source of information as regards this.
Problem is, what do you think? What would you advise them?
Okay, so yeah, this essay probably takes the bulk of the research work you are going to do. So I've been saying research for the entire Chevening application process, but this is where you have to do the bulk of the research, because you do not know anything about your course in the UK, you do not know anything about these universities. So if you are stuck, you need to research, even if it's going to mean looking at every school in the UK and looking at what they have to offer regarding your course. If that's what it takes for you to understand why you want to pick that university, I think you should go ahead and do it. And also, it can help you to reach out to people in your field who are currently studying in the UK. You can always use LinkedIn to reach out to them, reach out to current scholars as well, to talk about how they were able to gather the necessary information they needed to write this essay.